welcome our fabulous panelists. एक बार जोरदार तालियां while we get them on stage. Please welcome Sanjay Gupta, Dabboo Atul Kasbekar, Aseem Bajaj, Leena Yadav, and Aahana Kumra. To moderate this session, please also welcome Rohit Khilnani.
Thank you so much, guys. Firstly, thank you for being here for this panel. This is an important one. जितना आपने सुबह से देखा है on camera लोग, people behind the lens, make all that. So thank you so much. Firstly, what a lineup. I'm personally very excited to be here. Big fan of each one's work. Have watched it over the years. I'll start with you. We are in very different times, Sanjay. You are one of the, I was talking to someone behind the stage and you are a stylish film, I think it's on. You're a stylish filmmaker. Whatever you made at whatever point in your life, your films were very stylish. Today time has changed. If Sanjay Gupta makes something today, will he use something like a mobile phone and shoot some shots?
See, the thing is, we are already using those little GoPros for our, for some of the work. Having said that, the technology today has advanced and changed so much. Okay. Because even at the peak of, like in the 2000s, my company, we were using 16 cameras. Yeah. And then blowing it up to 35 and stuff like that. Because that was the nature of the films. They were gritty and, that's what we needed. But today it just depends on, what your need is. Yeah. And there are different things for, Blackmagic camera is 6K approved by Netflix, Amazon, all the big guns, big studios. So you can just take that and it'll come home for $1,80,000.
Right, wow.
So that's where we are.
Right. Dabboo and Atul are this country's biggest and the bestest photographers. So happy to have you all. Dabboo, if I take you back 15, 20 years, what was different today? What is same? What is different?
So I've been a photographer since the film days. I mean, Atul and me both have started photography when we were shooting on film. So I mean, we've been the part of the transition to see from film to digital and now to AI. So we've seen a whole range of photography going through its full circle, and in terms of even equipment, from where we started and how it progressed, in terms of even lighting, in terms of everything has changed, So, and it's very important to keep up with the time, to keep up with the technology. It's like when you go for a shoot, it's understood that no one asks us which camera you're using, because it is just taken for granted that you're obviously going to use the best, So, so I've seen a lot of change in terms of the whole business has changed, the whole technology has changed, availability of equipment from beginning to now. Like earlier when I used to need particular equipment, I had to travel abroad to actually bring it down. Now everything's available over here. So I think the whole industry has evolved and progressed a lot since we started photography.
Right. Atul, same question to you. When you're shooting today, will you make sure, people keep upgrading their iPhones here. Will you make sure that you upgrade to the latest camera and have the latest one, or you'll be okay, this is also not bad, I'll use this for a photo shoot?
So I get asked this question a lot. Mercifully, one of the advantages of my job is that I haven't paid for a camera in the last 25 years. So this might sound bizarre, but I've always been on some camera contract or the other. Right now it's Nikon. Very good cameras, by the way, if anyone's thinking of buying
Sorted.
And now for a word from our sponsor. But having said this, my favorite quote whenever someone asks me is that no typewriter ever wrote a novel by itself. Okay? So an Indian photographer whose work I'd admired a lot has been the late Prabodh Das Gupta. And when I first started shooting professionally, he was hot at that time. And I went to Trikaya Gray and the agency, and I was pitching my work to get a job, and they said, listen, would you model for us for something? So I said, absolutely not. They said, no, Prabodh thought you might be an interesting face. I said, okay, this I'll do because I want to see how he works.
Right.
So it was actually my little spy mission by being on the other side of the camera. And the funny thing was that I think he borrowed a tripod. He had 2 lenses, one old beat-up camera, and one guy who had nothing to do with photography holding a fill card and shooting. And instead of our normal style where you're just banging off a lot of images, he would not press the shutter until he thought it was almost absolutely right.
Right.
So it's a completely different style from anyone else's work, certainly from mine. Where we would shoot a lot of volume and make sure you got the shot.
Right.
He would press the shutter when he had the shot. So with all the rudimentary equipment that he had, Prabhudo did magical work. And there are people who have incredible, pieces of equipment and who don't shoot half as well.
Right.
Perhaps. So equipment is a means to an end. And I've always said this to students and everybody that at the end of the day, you can come up to a certain level technically quite easily and hire people to ramp up your Photoshop skills and so on and so forth.
Right.
But the reality check is what is between your ears is what you've accumulated in the arts,
Right.
which comes into, when you're pressing the shutter at 1/25th at 5.6, you did when you did because of life experiences that you've had. And that is true for filmmakers, for directors, for,
Right.
what have you experienced? So I keep telling students, experience more.
Right.
When you go to London, before you go to the clubs, go to the museums.
Yeah.
And if you go to some place, admire the architecture, respect all the arts. It's actually fascinatingly interesting how enriched your life is when you do this.
So true, so absolutely true. Aseem, Leena, same question what I asked Sanjay is, would you all shoot on the iPhone or any phone, and or should we adapt कि this is the new thing, or there are people who look down upon यार ये तो कोई भी shoot कर सकता है, or should we encourage people who can shoot on their phones? These are film and media students.
See, if you have a story, shoot with anything that you have.
Right.
Because it's the narrative that has to work, it's not the technology really.
Right.
So I'm not somebody who's a slave of technology.
Right.
And we have just shot a film called Becoming, which was in minus 18 degrees and at 18,000 feet in Ladakh. And I shot that film on this camera, which is kept right here.
Wow. Okay.
And
It's a back present, you can take it back.
and it was beautiful. And I was, to tell you the truth, I had, as a cinematographer, I was a little skeptical, and I had carried a Sony Venice as well with me.
Okay.
In case I don't get my shots, it's not, I need to still shoot the film. And believe me, there was shots which I shot with both cameras.
Okay.
I wanted to compare the shots in DI.
Okay.
And it stands as tall as any other camera.
Wow.
I was surprised.
Okay.
And I projected the film, we projected the film at PVR Juhu,
Wow. Okay.
projected at PVR Chennai, PVR, where else did we? Hyderabad and Kochi. It stood tall everywhere. And most amazing moment for me was like somebody as amazing as Rajiv Menon. I mean, we've learnt work from them. Seeing their films, we've been inspired as students.
Yeah.
They're like gurus to us.
Right.
And it was amazing that Rajiv sir was like, how did you do this shot? Was this the same camera?
Right.
There was a childlike excitement there, and I was literally in tears.
Right. That's really nice. Yeah.
And I've just sent the film to IMAX for them to blow up the film on IMAX. I want to see how it holds on IMAX because
Wow.
here it was fine. So don't be a slave to technology. If any students here,
Yeah.
please do not be a slave to. Shoot it on your mobile. It's fine. As long as your narrative works. No cinematography works if the film doesn't working.
Right.
If the film works, even cinematography is beautiful.
Right. Leena, same question to you. You know, there's so much on a filmmaker's mind, story, actors, talent, tantrums, everything. But no, what I'm asking is, would you sit with your cinematographer and discuss what camera we're using, or will you, obviously one, you will trust them with what they're using, but would you like to explore new technology? Are you that person?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm in for anything that can make the work happen better and
Yeah.
faster.
Fast.
But yes, the vision is the main thing. What do you have to say?
Right.
You know, once you have, and luckily we are in a world today that if you got something to say, there are million means, there are choices. You know, first we didn't have those choices, today we have those choices. So now the stress on content is much, much higher.
Right.
Because that is available in so many formats, in so many ways.
Right.
If you can think it, it can happen.
True. Aahana, good to have an actor on this panel as well, the other side of it. Guys, you all should follow Aahana on social media because you are someone who takes your own GoPro, goes cycling. You know, she's amazing in sports and everything, and you travel a lot. First question is, you are obviously interested in technology. Do you care about it, right?
I do. And just to track back, this is my spy mission, as Atul just said. So
Right.
this is that. But I do care about technology. But as Aseem sir just mentioned, that I'm not a slave to it.
Okay.
You know, Leena ma'am and I were just discussing, just before the panel started, that there's a series right now which is on Netflix currently. And there was a scene and there's an episode, and that entire episode has an attorney who's facing her, it's her back, and the entire shot is on the actor, and the entire episode is literally the actor speaking. So it didn't matter to, I think, any of us whether it was a GoPro or was it an iPhone or
Right.
was it an Arri or what camera they shot on.
Right.
Because I think the most important and integral thing in anything is storytelling. If your story is powerful, you can shoot it on any sort of technology, and I'm sure, and we were again going back to what ma'am and I were discussing, that, you know, I was just telling her, I often wonder that despite the fact that we have so much technology and we have so much happening around us and we have everything, AI, gadgets, falan, dimkan, everything, how is it that we are still so inefficient compared to what the filmmakers in the past made? Because today, when you go back to, I've been a film school student, and the only films that we watched were the ones which were made on film and Clockwork Orange and everything that, 2000 Space Odyssey and how is it that I am hardly watching any cinema, or as a film student, what kind of cinema will I be able to recommend to today's youngsters? We still go back to Chaplin, we still go back to so much cinema that was shot years ago, and that didn't have the kind of technology that we had. It had film. So I just think story is the most important thing.
True. To Atul and Dabboo, hi guys. Yeah, my question is, there's a bit of a conflict here that people say that, one, when we go to any museum in the world and see any art or one of the best pictures, nobody will ask, ye kis pe liya tha, kaun sa lens tha, kitne baje tha. On the other side, we do encourage and we want to have the latest technology and have the best cameras. Where is this? Should we have, or if it doesn't matter, ye kis pe liya tha, then what matters is it could be iPhone 8 or 9, but as long as the picture is good.
So for me, I mean, when I'm doing commercial work, and I'm doing, say, a billboard of a film, or I'm doing a poster for a brand which is going to be blown up in a mall, I feel, I mean, having the highest amount of megapixel works for me. So I mean, but if I'm shooting for myself, or I'm shooting pictures which I'm going to just put up in my studio, or just for my prints or my personal work, for sure, I mean, I will have a phone with me, I will have maybe a small camera with me, but definitely when I'm shooting commercial work, I used the highest megapixel, highest camera that's available for me.
Got it. Has it ever happened that your phone picture was better than your camera picture?
No, never.
I was expecting that. Atul, has it ever happened your phone? I know, you're a Nikon person, but has it ever happened that your phone picture was better than the camera picture?
I think what happens with the phone picture is that the phone was there. so you got the picture because the camera wasn't there.
Okay.
Earlier when I went on holidays, there was
fair
separate
enough.
packing for this entire bag of stuff, which would have 3 lenses and 2 bodies because
Yes.
Murphy, as you know, was a photographer. So one camera, if you carry only one camera, that one camera will pack up.
Yeah.
But if you carry 2 cameras, one camera will never pack up.
Yeah.
It's the law. So now, it's just that kind of thing. But
Okay.
in terms of technical quality, there's no contest. I mean, obviously, the higher end equipment is at a significantly.
Right. You are laughing. You tell me. You have got a better shot on the phone ever than the camera. Yeah. Yeah. Please, mic the don't go.
Yeah, it has happened.
Okay. And you kept that in the film and.
Yeah, in a film which was it? Bhola.
Okay.
Shooting for Bhola, I had to do a shot and I did it twice. The iPhone worked better
Wow.
and that made it into the film.
Nice. How interesting. Yeah, yeah. I'll start from here again. The very important topic all across the world is the threat from AI. Everybody says AI will take all our jobs. One day the camera can give you the best settings and phone, and literally it will tell you where to stand, where to click, kya nikalna hai. As a filmmaker, what is the threat that AI can have for you?
See, it is not something that is going to happen. It's happened. AI is right here. The AI is now. And it's already taken away. I'm a big proponent of AI. I use it a lot. Today the time I can just put a prompt, I get a song.
Yeah.
I put in a visual, I put in a scene and say, cut this how Tarantino would. And it gives me that result back. And then I say, okay, put background music, suspenseful, or this or that. So all this is already happening.
Yeah.
And then there's a big thing. I remember I sent that clip to Rasool, who mixes all my films, does the
Right.
sound design. And I sent him that, the program. And in that, you actually just take a scene and you load it. And it reads what sound is needed everywhere. It gives the effects. It asks you for the mood. It mixes it for you, everything, and you have a ready track over there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and the similar thing is happening even with, with live shooting.
Okay.
In the sense, there was a big thing in a show like The Mandalorian. That shot with the
Yeah.
video walls.
Right.
Okay, because they are creating a certain world.
Okay.
Okay, so what you needed was a VFX team that would create the background, which you're going to project, and then you're putting actors in the foreground and you're shooting it.
Right.
So that's something. Today, that VFX team is almost redundant. Because the AI is generating the backdrop and you will keep saying, oh no, just give me an IKEA sofa over there. Give me this over there. Give me that over there. So within a year or two, I'm not to, what Atul just said, that a typewriter doesn't write a story. That's right.
Yeah.
But the AI does. You give it a prompt, you just say what you want,
Right.
and it just keeps spitting it out,
Right.
and out and out. So
Right. How many here use Chat GPT on a regular basis? Wow. See, this is the.
I do.
Yeah. You do also. Okay. Same thing.
Most beautiful thing about AI is, and something to learn from it, is like the amazing photographers like Atul or him. AI is studying that.
Yeah.
How is iPhone giving you such a beautiful image? They are studying the work of Atul Kasbekar. And they are studying the work of Dabboo.
Free memory.
They are the best photographers in the world. They study that, okay, in a similar situation, when you had these many actors, this was the light situation, this was the sky, this was the colors of the wall. What did they do? It studies that, and in accordance with that, it gives you a photograph and you feel, wow, what a photograph I clicked. No, you didn't click it.
Right.
It's a study of the best photographers in the world. That's what it's doing. But now, the good part is, can you see that and go beyond to better yourself?
True.
If not, then you depend upon AI. AI will not make you redundant. It'll teach you to get better.
Okay. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
no, you have to look at it that way. You
It will
cannot
take
condemn.
away jobs. That's the problem.
No, not
but-
take away jobs. See, jobs will still be around. But the thing is, the whole attitude
It
to,
still needs instructions, right?
yeah,
If it doesn't have that interface,
But see, it takes away jobs, that's a fact. I'll tell you, I used to work in a news channel where there would be a camera person, there would be a video editor, there would be a producer who would uplink everything, there would be a driver, an OB engineer. We had a staff like a lineup of this. Now everything I do on this, those people are not needed. Like imagine that's really something.
that is a larger discussion that we are all being dumbed down.
Right.
I mean, the more I'll use AI, like I use it to do something which would have taken me 4-5 hours and it gives it to me in 5 seconds, I'm going to slowly lose the ability to do that or think like that. And things disappear really fast.
Sure, yeah.
So it is how you use it. Technology, it's always about the balance.
Right.
You know, it's when are you using it and when is it using you.
Okay, right. Aahana, the actors also have a threat. Someone can use your voice, someone can use your face, make you do anything that they want in a story. You will not be known, you'll not know about that film till you see it. What do you actors talk about it? How does one deal with it? It's such a discussion world over.
It is, and I think a lot of actors have been asking the government to take strict action against this because it is a little scary. I think like you can be morphed so easily and your voice can be used in an inappropriate way. It is a little, I mean, it doesn't really protect you. You're really out there, but I guess this is where dystopia comes into being. You know, we're really heading towards a world or in a space where we know that if we put ourselves out there, this is what we risked, and unfortunately, this is the deep end. This is what you're going to get at the end of it.
Right. Atul, Dabboo, tell me one thing. Honestly, do you ever get threatened by AI?
Sounded like Shankar Jaikishan.
Shankar Jaikishan, हमारे photography world के, हमारे सब Jatin, Lalit, Vishal, Shekhar, everything. Really, do you ever look at it negatively that what is this, yaar? ये कहाँ से आ गया? This is something that only y'all could do. Today an iPhone can take good pictures. People sitting in any city can do that. What will be the differentiator later?
Again, like I said, it's what you bring to the table in terms of your art skills. Okay, so I spend a fair amount of time looking at graphics. It has nothing to do with what I do, but I'll look at graphics. I'll look at architecture. I have lots of great chefs, for example, who are friends. This might sound really lateral, but I think it helps subliminally in the kind of work you do as an artist. What is the edge that you have apart from the fact that you can expose something correctly? I'll tell you, when I started, there was a photographer, God bless him because he's passed away years ago now, but who spread this nasty little thing about if you're not shooting on a CNR, okay, it just won't be up to the mark. Now the CNR is a great camera, it's a view camera, and it's 4x5 sheet film, but you can't really shoot people on that. I mean, you can, but it's not really the most appropriate, right? Now, a whole bunch of art directors, with single-digit IQs then thought that was the gospel. So when you went to a pitch at an agency, the question was, what camera are you using? You know what I mean? And I'm like, how does it matter to you? I'll use whatever is appropriate for, I have 3 different systems, including a CNR, and if it's the right thing for the job, I will use it. But if you want to shoot some portraits, what sense does it make to use a CNR? You know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing. So I really think that everything is something that you can use to aid and abet your creative process. And whatever you can do towards that end is most welcome. But the differentiator when 2 people have this access to the same apps, software, equipment, what is the edge that you are bringing to the table? Because that tech is available to everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
Correct?
It's your vision, basically.
Yeah, it's your vision.
It's your vision that you're bringing to the table. So, I mean, the same model, same equipment, but 2 photographers will completely see it completely differently and will treat it as per what they feel is right for that particular shoot.
Right.
So I mean, equipment, I mean, like I said, I am for technology. I use GFX, which is a high-end camera.
Right.
But I mean, like I said, but it can't teach you how to create. It cannot make you a creator.
Right.
That is something that you need to work on yourself. That is your vision that you're bringing out on the camera. Basically.
Right. Aseem, I want to ask you, how many filmmakers in India are are those kinds who would say, I want the latest, जो दुनिया में best हो रहा है Hollywood में, मुझे वो camera चाहिए, वो drone चाहिए. Are we open to that? Do you personally like that? Because I know there are so many, say, for example, someone like Rohit Shetty, I've been on his sets many times, and I see he is always using some latest drones and latest technology. Are you one who would like the latest in the world, and are all the filmmakers that adaptable?
Well, that's a very crazy discussion here. People even show you shots that this is the exact shot I want, which was done 15 years back by somebody else. They bloody play the shots for you. That's the lighting I want. And you're like, hey, how about the emotions? How about the script? So it's a crazy discussion. Right. I don't know how to answer that really.
Right. Leena, are you someone, you can enjoy your chocolate then answer. Are you someone who will make sure that, boss, technology, I'm not going to compromise, everything else is sorted, acting, there's that, but have the best camera?
No, it's not. I mean, I actually leave it to the DP what they want to use. That is his area of speciality, his or hers. Yeah, I mean, you have to have a standard. Now,
Right.
those standards are pretty spelled out also. If you have a show on Netflix, you need X, Y, Z.
Okay.
So as long as you're, abiding by that, the decision is made on too many things: the location, the access. Do you need a light camera? Can you afford a big unit? So I think that decision I leave completely to the DP, and
Right.
I'm not obsessed with
You're not
okay, I need to get the best technology.
Right. You, like I said, we were discussing, you all are a younger audience. Please go and watch his movies, Kante and everything else. They are very stylish movies, by the way. Are you someone who would say, I want the best tech that is there?
In a sense, I just try to get the best available. So I remember when I was working on my first film on Atish, and I really wanted to do a lot of wide-angle shots, and the lens was not available. It was there with Rajiv Rai.
Okay.
And his camera team would not give it out.
Okay.
They said, नहीं, ये Rajiv sir के लिए exclusive है. उन्होंने बोला ये lens नहीं देने का. And I remember I went and met him.
Okay.
I was just a kid, I was 21, 22 years old. I went and met him, and I said, sir, I'll look after it. Yeah, I said everything, but please, just can I please have that lens? Similarly, the producer of my second film, their side business was renting out cameras.
Right.
And the best cameras were rented out. And the 2C would come on the set and all of that. And I was like, what the hell, this is your film.
Right.
So there's always been a fight to get the best that is available.
Okay. But are somewhere OTT platforms now also calling the shots ki yaar is pe nahi hoega to Amazon, Netflix won't take it?
Again, it depends who you're dealing with. Secondly, they just give you that quality control. The QC is there, and they'll tell you, okay, we want this in 2K, 4K, whatever. And that's it. I mean, they're not telling you how to light it, how to shoot it. But in any case, now there's so much that we are doing in pre-production, where, I mean, in my case, I'll speak for myself. So what I do is, even the entire film, the whole mood board, I make it myself. I don't sit with anybody. I make it, and then I just hand it over to my DOP, and I say, now it's for you to interpret.
Okay.
This is what I have. This is how I'm seeing it.
Right.
And now now you take this further.
Take it further. Aahana, if someone comes to you with a story and says, I want to make this, but it's going to be shot on a phone entirely, how would an actor see that?
I think it would be quite exciting actually.
Okay.
Because I've never shot anything on the iPhone or
Nothing,
on
not
any
yet,
phone.
no film, no scene, nothing?
No, I mean,
Okay.
I've had the privilege, thankfully, because I've been a film student, so I had the privilege to work on film camera.
Okay.
And I knew how it was. In fact, there's a really funny incident back in the day. We were shooting, I remember, in Granth. And we were film students, so हम लोग को मतलब budgets मिलते थे और हम लोग को बोला जाता था कि भाई इतना ही है, इतना film camera है. तो I still remember there was a scene where I had to just walk. So Granth, if you've seen how narrow the bookshelves are all kept because इतनी सारी books एक जगह इकट्ठी करनी है. So I remember the guy who was doing the clap was actually one of the direction students, and he didn't have space to, so उसने clap दिया and he was told to leave and he got stuck. So film camera roll ho raha hai, and the director was panicking and he's like, gir ja, late ja. So I remember walking all over him like, you know, like this. And I had literally done the scene walking all over that guy because we were shooting on a film camera. But, you know, that was the excitement and thrill to do film. But I think it's the same excitement if you can just, you know, maintain that excitement to be able to work on a phone camera, why not? Because I think the kind of technology that these new iPhones and these, I mean, every day there's a launch of a new phone.
Yeah.
And every phone guarantees कि भाई ये megapixel और ये megapixel और वो बड़ा बड़ा, and I'm just like भाई इससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है, तुम्हारी कहानी में दम है, then I think it doesn't matter. But I think it would be exciting to shoot it. I've never shot it, but I take up that opportunity if anybody wants to shoot.
Right. You said उस time कम budget होता था. कितना budget दिया था college में?
बहुत कम था. हम film students थे, so please समझ जाओ.
Right. So you all should know roughly what the budget was. Anyone has any questions? Raise your hand. We'll send a mic. Yes, we'll send a mic. Till then, okay. Can we get a mic here? Are there more mics, or should I give my mic? Okay. Till then, I want to ask you all. You know, if there's a photographer in the crowd who's starting today, what would be Dabboo's advice to them? What would be Atul's advice to them?
I would say become a DOP instead of a still photographer.
Why is that?
Because I think, so I had a knee surgery about 5 years ago. And I come out of anesthesia, and the orthopedic was a very good school friend of mine, Dr. Tarapurwala. And Farhad looks at me, I'm coming to in this swimming little whatever. And then in this thing, he has a conversation about, you know, in that movie you all produced, na, you could have done this, and why didn't you, you know, yaar tu item number nahi lagta apne picture mein, you know. I said, did I ask you where you should insert your probes on my knee? Right. You know what I mean? So the thing that's happened with motion picture and with photography is that on a given day, Harish Salve can take a great photograph. He may not do it every day,
right?
But on a given day he could. You know, the light is just right and the curtain blew just so, and you know, his dog pressed that button on the thing which happened to be lying there and it took a photo, right? On no given day will I be allowed to argue a case in the Supreme Court, and they certainly will not let any of us operate on anyone at Breach Candy Hospital.
Right.
But any of those professionals can turn around and do something. So I think there's a certain amount of democratization of the visual process that has happened thanks to incredible equipment on your phone and in post-production.
Sure.
You know, and AI, etc. So if you want to make a living, I think, you know, people like Atul Dabboo, famous music
duo,
have lucked out from being right place, right time. Okay, if you came in today, it would be very difficult. And for what it's worth, it's very difficult for the stalwarts because there's a bunch of kids out there who are willing to do it for nothing.
Right.
You know, as well. If you want to make a living, I suggest you use a moving camera, so to speak, so that, you know, you can pay the bills.
Right.
That would honestly has been my sincere advice for the last 7-8 years. Don't only do stills.
Okay, do video. Yeah. Dabboo, your advice to someone who's going to become a photographer?
So for me, I am still as passionate about photography since the past 25, 26 years. For me, it excites me as much as my first day on the job. So, I mean, I would always encourage somebody to do photography. So, I'm from another school. But because I still enjoy it as much as I did for so many years. So, I look forward to my shoot, which is happening tomorrow. I really still have the fire to me to create. So, I would always encourage photographers.
Yes.
But Dabboo, that's the passion which has also kept you going. So from your time, there are any number of photographers we knew who stopped working long ago. I have this issue, you know, that when back in the 90s or 80s, when we were starting out, you know, the cameraman, because I've always been a big fan of, so there was a Ashok Mehta, there was a W.B. Rao, there was a P.C. Sriram, Santosh Sivan, you know. So you had these legends here. And now, I mean, not because he's sitting here, but there's Aseem and there's Sudeep Chatterjee. These are the last of the Mohicans. I cannot name, there is no work that I'm seeing and saying, "Arey boss," you know, or looking forward to, or waiting, let his film release. And when you were asking about, you know, photographers, I think you should ask them first, does anybody want to be a photographer?
Anyone wants to be a photographer, raise your hand. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
No, because I'll tell you what, you know, we both started together. Our first film was together, Dabboo and me.
Oh,
So
wow.
at
Nice.
that time, just to get his hands on that camera, getting those rolls, and then he would shoot, and every day that 1 hour processing, I mean those prints, we would get, and that was our way of checking dailies.
How interesting.
You know, we were the only ones who were kind of doing that. But similarly, I mean, there is so much. I mean, just the smell of the new lenses, just feeling them, you know, and just packing them, looking after them. I think that entire thing it's gone.
Yeah, true.
You know, there used to be designated camera stores.
Yeah.
You know,
true.
there
We
still
all-
are, maybe 1 or 2, but not as many. So it's somewhere for me, it's just kind of dying out.
True, true. Phones have no smell. When you shot Miranda Brothers now, what camera did you use? How is the cinematography of that?
No, I shot it on the Arri Alexa.
Okay.
You know, we would be shooting that. I always have a 3 to 4 camera
Okay.
setup in which we also use. When later for more work we do the GoPros and all of that.
Okay.
But yeah, so we were using those, and it's just one of those films I've done which it's a story I really wanted to tell. So I didn't get too much into how visually.
Tell them a little, since it's
About
a
what?
story close to your heart. What is
No,
it?
it's just that it's a beautiful story of 2 brothers in Goa, and they are football players, and the elder one is also taken to crime. So it was just the merger of these 2 genres. You know? So of course, my film, so there has to be crime. I was once challenged by Javed Saab, and he said, "Can you make a film without even a slap in it?" So
He was like, why? Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to come to you guys since there's no other mic. You want to be a photographer, or you just have a question?
Hello, good evening. My name is Sakshi Bindra. As Rohit asked what you would give advice to photographers, I would like to ask what advice will you give to the person you're taking pictures of, or the model or the actress? What will be your advice to be the best in front of the camera?
So my advice to people who I'm shooting is, you know, first of all, you need to feel great about yourself. When you feel good, like when you look into the mirror and you say, yes, I'm looking good, I'm feeling good, that feeling should last through the entire shoot. You should feel that great about yourself. And when you're confident, when you look good, when you feel good, you automatically look good in pictures.
Right. One last question, and we are wrapping after that. Yeah.
Hi, Leena, ma'am. I just want to ask you that you've been in this journey for long enough, and you've done great work internationally as well. What is the best advice you've gotten from somebody which just keeps you going, and that you would share it with others as well who are aspiring to be a good filmmaker?
What advice did I get? I have to really think about this. But no, stop it. Everybody just says don't give up. No, but to be a good filmmaker, I think you really need to listen, really need to see, and not be stuck inside your phone. Live people, you know, observe things around you, and that's where you get your inspiration from. So yeah, that's
Great. Thank you so much. We have to wrap
also
this. We
would
have
help if you if you want to be a good filmmaker, you also have to enjoy being a bit of a masochist, I think. Because only we know what a torture of a process it is until it gets done.
Absolutely.
I mean, I made my first movie and I told my entire family, I mean, it was a very good film, to be fair, but I said, you know, I've realized that it's a painful process to make one. So don't you ever go to a movie, because it took a lot of effort even to make a bad movie.
Yeah.
Okay? And say, kya picture hai? You know? So don't do that, because there's a lot of pain behind any of those. Yeah, so masochism helps.
Right. Great, guys. Thank you so much for this. Was
I'm sorry to interrupt, but my friend wants to give something to Aahana and Leena. She
okay. You all
made
can
something
come
for
quickly
them.
and do that, and then we wrap because we have the next
Hi,
session
Leena.
waiting.
Hi, Leena. Hi, Aahana.
Come, let's do that. Come up straight. Come get what you want to give.
We also have a fun segment before we leave. So, yeah.
Thank you. You made it? Well done. How sweet. Thank you. Yes, over to you. Before we wrap, one game.
Some really nice flowers, guys. I think that deserves a huge round of applause. A lot of golden words from the stalwarts of the industry. I genuinely think, I think this was one of the finest panel discussions through the day. There have been many. So if I'm being biased, it's only because there's so much to learn. And I wish this could go on for a couple of, the masochism, the other things, everything in general. But we're not going to talk about lenses or AI. My name is Prerna. Quickly going to talk about sleep in general. And I'm going to ask specific questions to each one of you. And you can ask me to shut up or you can answer or whatever. Sleep in general. Sleep. Yeah. Okay. So what is the most unusual place, Sanjay Gupta, that you've taken a nap in? संजय गुप्ता ने सबसे अनयूजुअल जगह पे एक झपकी ली है, वो कौन सी जगह है हम जानना चाहते हैं.
I am so particular about sleeping in my bed.
Yeah.
So I don't even take a jhabki on my couch.
Yeah.
Never. Just, if
You
I have to
pick
sleep,
yourself out of it and you just throw yourself in the bed.
If I have to sleep, I know that that's where I'll head. I don't sleep otherwise. I don't have a nap.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, but it has to be my bed.
So filmmaking and learning how to go and sleep into your bed. That's what we learned from Sanjay Gupta today. Right, okay. Dabboo Ratnani, what's the most unusual thing that you've ever done to improve your posture, or do you have a very naturally beautiful posture all the time? Are you like straight and upright and you don't slouch, nothing?
I've had the slouch for most of my life. In
Yeah.
fact, I've been just correcting it in the last, I think, 1 or 2 years. You know, I've had a really, and I think with the camera weight on my neck, it had only got worse. So I keep putting my shoulders back together, and my trainer at the gym has really helped me to put my posture back in place now.
Claps for the trainer for Dabboo Ratnani, guys. Not Dabboo Ratnani, but that trainer for the moment. Of course, Dabboo Ratnani for the rest of the days of the year. This question's for you, Atul sir. First of all, huge fan. A huge fan of everyone over here. But I don't want to like act like this. I shouldn't even say this. Anyway, let's move on. मैं ass licking बोलने वाली थी, but मैंने बोल दिया. So, Atul Kasbekar, this question's for you. How do you keep up with the back-to-back shoots without feeling drained, constantly standing, doing things, and constantly thinking while you're doing it as well? Like, do you get tired? And when you do, what do you do?
Yoga se hi hoga hai.
Someone over there is doing Anulom Vilom already because of your answer. So
No, but I think what happens is that it's a high energy profession if you're
Yeah.
behind the camera.
yeah,
And I've done things I may not do now, which would risk life and limb to try and climb on top of something.
Yeah.
And a very half my size assistant is trying to save my life by holding my belt or something retarded like this. So the point of the matter is that you'll be able to climb up, crawl down, etc. I've always tried to stay fit, and I've discovered yoga about 7, 8, 10 years ago.
yeah.
And it's the best thing ever. It's the coolest thing ever. And if you haven't started, please do. Otherwise, you will realize 5, 10, 20, 30 years later that, guess what? He was right.
Yeah.
So,
So if you want to be a photographer, you also have to get onto the path of yoga. So that's, I think, one of the important things to take away from today. Aseem sir, this question's for you. When you're really tired, how do you wish to, in an ideal world, sort of relax your feet? गर्म पानी के एक बाल्टी में अपने पैर डाल दो, या फिर स्पा जाओ, या फिर कैसे आप अपने पैरों को किस प्रकार से आप रिलैक्स करवाते हैं आफ्टर अ लॉन्ग डे?
मैं बेसिकली मैं थिएटर से आता हूँ,
जी
तो शूटिंग के बाद मैं दारू वगैरह पीता नहीं हूँ.
जी.
तो शूटिंग के बाद मैं गाना गाता हूँ.
Really?
अपने रूम में जाता हूँ, गाना गाता हूँ, and I relax.
Why don't we do this for every day as Mumbaikars?
I do that every day.
That's
At my house, I do that every day.
Listen, all of you all with 5
Like I religiously sing.
Yeah.
And no alcohol every day.
It's
At
been
all.
28 years I quit.
I think we should also give claps for singing every day, whether or not you want to sing. So clap for that as well. Sometimes you don't want to sing, but you sing. And that's impeccable. That's amazing. Leena ma'am, this one's for you. How do you...
She's subjected to that singing sometimes.
I'm going to ask this. How do you manage singing and listening to that singing?
No, yeah.
My question for you is, what is your favorite spot to chill at home? Like, is there a corner where you really hang, really let loose? Which is that corner? What's that space?
Yes, I have a writing table with a computer in front of me with some books, some knickknacks, and the bed right behind. That's my most
Favorite
favorite
place.
corner, yes.
That's super sweet.
Yes.
That's, I don't know why. I feel like, अभी तक घर पे क्यों नहीं बुलाया type question. So ये क्या बात हो गई? You're talking about your favorite sport. You're not inviting us. Can we please clap for Leena Yadav as well? Thank you. Aahana, now the sleep questions are not for you. As a dating app, has a lot of options for a lot of ice-breaking moments, and we would like to break the ice with you as well. So a few questions for that. Have you ever written a love letter to someone?
I haven't. But I've written a letter of love to my best friend back in Lucknow, who was my first friend in school. And I had moved to Bombay and I was very lonely. And I was in 7th standard and I wrote a letter and I still have those letters. So I think love can be in many, many forms. And I think it was to my best friend.
500%, but what does a man get to do or to woo you so that you can write a letter for him expressing love?
Tell them, please.
To write a letter to me. I have had many letters written to me, so that's all right.
But you wrote, yeah, okay, ठीक है. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि आप उनके लिए letter लिखेंगी, कुछ करना पड़ेगा?
No, I think it's just about, I don't know, I've never been on any of these. I know it's very hard for the younger generation, I know, to find people because I have many young girls who work around me.
Yeah.
And they keep telling me, ये Tinder बड़ा ऐसा है, ये Grindr बड़ा वैसा है. And I swear to God, I only know these apps because of these young girls. I have no idea who's on these apps, how these apps work, because I've never been on any of them. But I feel that it's very important to be able to find people in real life, because in virtual rooms and these virtual worlds, I don't know what kind of people do you find, but I've thankfully had the opportunity to find a person in reality, in its true form. And I think for me, the most important thing is कि भाई normal होना चाहिए. मुझे नहीं चाहिए कोई झड़ूल, you know, ashy flashy type का नहीं.
But I'll or any other app, I think whoever is on an app at the moment, it's a lot of work. तो हमारे लिए तालियां for people like Aahana जिनको organically कोई मिल गया उनके लिए भी तालियां.
अकल ही नहीं है.
Here's hoping कि हर किसी को प्यार मिले Aahana के प्रकार का और love letter कोई लिखे उनके लिए वैसे हम भी लिखें. Aahana, last question for the day for this panel. Have you ever traveled to another city or a country to date?
To date?
To basically meet somebody.
To date.
Oh, to date? अच्छा, to date somebody? नहीं यार.
Yeah.
बहुत ज़्यादा काम है.
Yeah.
But I've
What do you
traveled
want?
alone and I felt very happy to find myself in a country by myself. I was like Emily in Paris and Emily in Japan and many, many things.
Never written a love letter. They was not on a dating app. Never traveled to another city. What is your scene?
पता नहीं यार, मैं भाग जाती हूँ. What rubbish. The great Casby is telling me this.
I think I'm curious to know a little bit more about Aahana. Aahana, opposites attract or similar taste matters? Like, what is your deal?
No, I think opposites attract, and I'm completely for it. I think it would be very boring to be in a room who I would hate to date somebody like me.
Yeah.
Hate to. Like I think I would kill that person. So I'm so glad that I don't want to date anybody.
Why don't you go ahead and kill half of us over here because we'd like to date you? Can we please clap for everyone on this panel? And for Rohit, can we clap for Aahana, for Leena, for Aseem, for Atul Kasbekar, Dabboo sir, and Sanjay Gupta, and Rohit. My name is Leena. Thank you so much. There are some special plaques that are coming. Rohit, if you could do the, क्या कहते हैं उसे? Do the honors. Yes.